You know who made it.
Live from LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, it's Reveting's Whiskey Wednesday. Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, revenue party people. We've got lots of hot prizes, hot topics, and hot guests to get into tonight. So let's get right into it. Here's the agenda. You all saw the topics on the video and in the promotional materials. We'll be talking about video and community. We'll also have an intermission with a special video by Data Ghost. And then, of course, we have the Guru of the Week. Actually, it's Gurus of the Week and the after party after that. And we'll share a Google Hangout where you can join me and the guests for some fun and to just follow up with any questions you have. And let's level up and figure out how we can take all of our businesses and our growth and sales and marketing to the next level. So as we get started, please keep your questions plugged in the comments. We want to keep the conversation tailored to you. So let's get right into it because we've got some prizes to win tonight. So prize one, if you want to enter to win these prizes right here, make sure that you're tagging Proposify in the comments to enter to win an hour cold call coaching with Tom. Thank you, Tom. That was supposed to be 30 minutes, but he's being a homie and doing an hour because I made a mistake. So everybody enter Proposify. And Tom, thank you for sparing an hour of your time for some lucky winner to help them level up their cold calls. And then we have a 60-minute group class with Taro LaFon Gooch. And we'll connect you in an email. So if you win, I'll have you fill out a form and I'll connect you with all of these with Whiskey WinsDay at reveting.com. And also Headset Advisor. You win this headset from Headset Advisor. They are awesome. So thank you, Headset Advisor. And Lavender. Yes, I give away lavender free every week. And I guess technically I'm an influencer. So I know there was a lot of discussion on LinkedIn about lavender and influencers, but I still think lavender is a really great tool. I think it helps our audience level up. And I do think that they still appreciate me since they continue to allow us to give this away every week. So that's what I will say about that. So that is prize one. And for some reason, the overlay for prize two isn't here. So I'm going to come back with that in the middle of the conversation. But that's going to have Leslie Greenwood's course on it. And so you're going to want to enter to win that, as well as 10,000 credits with Data Ghost. And also Brand 30 with Andrew Mewborn. So there's three more. You're going to want to tag Data Ghost to enter to win those three. So there's two prizes, two winners tonight. Tag Proposify and Data Ghost to enter to win. and I'm really excited to get into it. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead, bring in our guests, and as always, we'll put up the ticker and ask them to introduce themselves in 30 seconds. So here we go. Here's Leslie Greenwood and Nausheen Chen. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Awesome to be here.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having us here, Jessie. This is awesome. I am so excited.
Thank you. I'm so glad to have you here. And your hair matches. We have like the same brand, and I love the purple hair. It's amazing.
Thank you.
I missed the memo. I could have gone and talked to Sam Nelson and asked him where he got his blue hair dye. I could have gone purple today for this.
Well, as you may have heard, as I was bringing you in, typically do a 30-second intro. So if you don't mind, Nausheen, I'm going to pull you up, and if you could introduce yourself to the audience in 30 seconds, that would be awesome. Here we go.
Sure. So you know that annoying kid who always gets up on this podium at family reunions and starts reciting the most annoying poem? So I was that annoying kid. It just took me a very long time to understand that my love for the stage and my love for speaking could be a way to earn a living. So I took the long way around. I was in Fortune 500, then I bootstrapped a startup, got into filmmaking, improv, stand-up comedy, and then realized my true calling in life was to speak, but to also coach others to speak better anywhere. That's what I do now. I work with CEOs and execs who want to create their personal brand through speaking, through being more visible, and showing up with the most impact anywhere, on any camera, on any stage, and building their business.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Nausheen. Even though it was 30 seconds and it ran twice, we still let it fly. So Leslie, we'll pull you up here. If you don't mind,
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
Awesome. Well, I am going to learn so much from this video just by sitting next to Nausheen. I get her newsletter every week, and I'm working on being a better presenter. So I'm Leslie Greenwood. I've had a very long, windy career into tech and SaaS and now community. Started out being an entrepreneur with a baby on my hip and writing purchase order numbers on a diaper with a crayon. In my first entrepreneurial journey, made my way into SaaS through a kind of crazy startup that I thought was fake. Turned out they got bought by a Fortune 500 for $250 million. So it worked out pretty well. A few other things, and then ended up at Pavilion and there as vice president of member success. But actually, I was community, and I lived and breathed community every second. And as I left Pavilion, I decided, what did I want to do next? And it was 100% community. I want to help people find that connection, help companies find ways to build that connection with their members, and help them, amplify their brand.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming here and sharing your expertise, both of you, and your thought leadership with the Whiskey Wednesday audience. This is a real treat for us. So if you don't mind, we're just going to hop into the first topic. And Nausheen, we'll let you kick it off. So it's lights, camera, impact, mastering on-camera presence for maximum influence. So what could you teach us on this?
Sure. So this really comes about because you're a growing business. More often than not, you're an entrepreneur, you're running a company, and your marketing department comes to you and says, we need you to be more visible. We need you to go on this podcast. We need you to be on Whiskey Wednesday. We need you to be on these live events and to create this presence when you speak. But you have no idea how to go about it because you've seen these people on stage or on camera, and it seems effortless and comfortable, and they're able to create this connection with you when they speak, but you don't actually know how to do it and you feel uncomfortable. So the first thing to do is to really understand what is that source of that discomfort or that fear. And a lot of people experience this in different ways. So it could be a fear of judgment. It could be nervousness arising from feeling unprepared and feeling inexperienced. It could be your inner voice, your inner critic telling you you're an imposter. So start there, because I never really start at the superficial end, what I like calling the superficial end. It's not that superficial, but the tips and tricks to sound confident and create impact, all of those come in. But it has to start from the place of discomfort, why you're not feeling up for the task, why you're saying no to all these podcasts, why you're feeling like you're not going to do yourself justice. And ironically, I've started realizing this is also true for people who've been building their personal brand online, but they haven't spoken as much on screen. So people have this syndrome of like hiding behind the keyboard, where they can write something really well and they've been building their personal brand through sharing stories and sharing images, but not really sharing videos, because that's more immediate. There's less to hide behind. You feel more vulnerable. So you start there. You start from the place of vulnerability. You embrace it. Easier said than done, but entirely possible. And then you make your way through by understanding what is it that you're already doing well. So, for example, maybe you're enunciating well. Maybe you're very clear. A lot of people that I work with are already very sure of what they want to say because they're subject matter experts. They just don't know how to articulate that expertise and bring it across in a way that's relatable, that people understand and remember. So that's step 2, taking what you know and understanding how to present it well. And then step 3 is the superficial stuff that I was talking about that does make an impact. So creating strong foundations of speaking skills, working on your voice, your energy, and your body language. So does that answer your question?
Wow, that was amazing. I feel like we just got a master course all in like 5 minutes. Leslie, what did you pick up mostly from that?
Oh my goodness. So the end of last year, I decided I was going to say yes to one podcast. I'd done 2 podcasts a while back. And so I said, okay, I'm going to say yes. And I just kind of put it out in the universe. And I think we're 11 podcasts in. Whiskey Wednesday. My God, how did I get on here?
Thank you.
And I'm like, wow. So I just, so what she's saying, like just saying yes to one thing that made me uncomfortable kind of turned into more and more. And I'm getting better at, telling my story and speaking clearly. I'm very bad at looking directly at the camera, which I'm trying to do today. So Nausheen, you can grade me after this. Will you just send me a LinkedIn DM and tell me if I got an A or an F? That would be awesome. So no, I mean, 100% what she's saying, I resonate with, which is why, like I said, I get her newsletter because those are the things that I need to learn as I become less of a keyboard warrior and more out in public.
Absolutely. Nausheen, the part that probably resonated with me the most was what you said about imposter syndrome and having the confidence to speak. So could you tell us a little more? Because I'm sure if you're in the audience and you've ever felt imposter syndrome, just put hashtag imposter syndrome if you don't mind. And like, I'm going to own up to it. It took me a while. Like, we got started with Whiskey Wednesday early on. There was Eddie, and like it was, thank goodness he was with me, because I was like, what am I doing? I've never done this before. But here we are. And now I feel much better about it. But I feel like there's a lot of people out there who maybe think about doing a live stream or a podcast, much like us, who are feeling that imposter syndrome. Like, I have nothing to share. And that's just simply not true. Everyone has their own unique story to share with the world. So what can you teach us about how can we move past that faster so that we can all grow and live our best, be our best selves?
You actually gave away the key to that in the way you asked the question. So this was me in, I want to say 2017, 2018. I was attending this event where this LinkedIn influencer, who happened to also live in Hong Kong at the time, was presenting. And he was talking about how he built his entire business on his personal brand and telling his story. And I was in the audience at the time, a complete nobody, very, very invisible, very scared of sharing what I knew. But I had this desire, right? I had this little itch in my brain saying that I need to share. I need to be visible. I just don't know how. So I was in the audience and I asked him, so Josh, I really want to tell my story. I want to do what you've done because you are an inspiration. But anything that I say has probably been said before. Anything that I share has probably been shared before. How do I find something new to contribute? And that is the one thing that was holding me back. My imposter syndrome was, Nausheen, what are you talking about? A lot of people have been entrepreneurs. A lot of people have, for example, at that point, my experience was living in China as a foreigner. A lot of people have done that. A lot of people have been female filmmakers, which is what I was. So that was preventing me from sharing my story. And he said exactly what you just said right now, that your story is yours to share. It doesn't matter if 1,000 or 100,000 people have experienced bits of what you've experienced and learned. Your story can never be taken away from you, and no one else can tell your story. And people want to hear it. So it's that combination. If you really understand it, if you can really internalize it, knowing that the experiences you've had, now, whether you're a 20 something BDR or whether you are a 30 something entrepreneur or a 40 something corporate exec, you always have experiences to share. And people are always interested because they want to learn from you. It's purely selfish, but it totally works out. It's a win-win selfishness where people want to know what it is that they can learn from your experience, from your failure, from your successes. So knowing that no one can take your story away from you is the first step really in combating that imposter syndrome.
Wow, that was really beautifully said. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I see you nodding, Leslie. Is there anything you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, I saw this all the time at Pavilion. So you'd have like an SDR and you'd have a CRO, and I used to run the global welcome calls. We'd have 100 or 200 people on from all over the world, and we do breakout sessions, and so that people could have these conversations between each other. And who knew who I was going to have in there? And I remember, we were going around introducing ourselves, and a gentleman is more junior in his career. He's like, "Well, I probably," it was kind of like, what's something you want to give, and what's something you want to get from the community? And he's like, "Well, I probably don't have anything to give. I'm just an SDR or just a BDR or something." And another gentleman in the room who was a CRO was like, "Absolutely not. You have fresh perspective. You have fresh ideas. You are the ones talking to the customers every day." And it was just so satisfying to hear someone else say that. And I would see that time and time in the community. The people that were SDRs and individual contributors wouldn't speak up as much. They wouldn't share their story. They weren't as open to ask questions. Whereas people that were a little bit more like a VP or a C-level, they're gonna be like, "I am so struggling. I don't know what to do. I need help." And I would just anyone out there encourage you to ask your questions, tell your story. There's someone that will appreciate it, and you're going to be surprised who actually appreciates it from that experience.
I was on mute, but those were all great points. Thank you both for sharing. We could probably talk about this all day, but for now, I think we'll move on to the second topic, which is starting to kick us off on community, Leslie. So the power of community for sales and marketing. As I was telling you pre-show, a lot of people in the audience I've met in communities, either mostly in Slack and WhatsApp, but there are a few Discord communities. Those are the platforms I think of, at least, with communities. So maybe we can get into a little bit of that. But if you are in the audience and you've met me in the community, or you heard about Whiskey Wednesday in a community, let us know by putting #community in the comments, because I would love to hear who all has learned from Whiskey Wednesday from a community. Because I think most of you have heard about us from the SaaS ship or the Reveting Slack channel. There's many out there. So yeah, I would love to hear #community and let us know which one you heard about us from. But Leslie, could you kick us off with the power of community to sort of teach everybody here, whether they're in a community or not, sort of, what they can do to leverage it to increase their revenue?
Yeah, 100%. So I think there's two ways to look at this. There's from the company or from the brand perspective. I mean, I was at B2B MX, which is why, there might be some bags under my eyes and I had to take a power nap. But in the last session I went to, the CMO of Tendoso basically said, and it's about the changing economics and changing times and what's changing in marketing. And she just said, "Well, I just want to add that if you aren't thinking about community, you are way behind the curve. And I was like, oh, can I stand up now and say hello? But it was just, that is from the brand perspective, especially in B2B SaaS, this is a huge topic right now. You know, the common channels, the emailing and the normal ways that people get in touch to market, you know, aren't as effective, or you have to put a lot more money into it. And when you think about a community for a brand, you're in there every day, you're giving value to your members, you're supporting them, you are, you know, teaching them about your product, and you're just honestly being there for more than just, you know, just the product. So, I mean, for instance, Jesse Ulett is in the audience. He and I've had multiple calls where he's just like helping me, supporting me through starting my company. He's actually sharing screens with me, fixing my email. And so those are the kind of relationships. And then if you think about people having those relationships with inside your brand community, that creates a positive feeling about your community. So those relationships feed the feeling of how they feel about your brand. And then that kind of transcends the other type of marketing. And that's where, I mean, this is what we saw at Pavilion. You know, there wasn't a lot of advertising. People just went out and said, I love Pavilion. They were on LinkedIn. I went to this dinner. I took this course. And so just that word of mouth and creating these evangelists out of our members also created a revenue and growth flywheel. And I believe that every company, every brand can do that if they take the right approach to community and really focus on the members and the customers, I guess, as well. And thinking about them as the growth lever, not just, you know, community-led growth, product-led growth. The one thing you need to fuel all of that is you need these humans that you will turn into evangelists that will go out and speak about your product. So yeah, someone said I was kind of passionate about this. Yeah, I'm sorry, I am. I don't tell me to like jump through the screen at you, but yeah, let's go.
I love it. No, this is great. And I loved seeing all the hashtag communities. Did you guys see all of that in the comments? So yeah, like keep plugging it away. I'd still love to know if you've heard about us in a community. Or if you've never heard about community, say, Jesse, I've never heard about a community until now. That would also be great to hear. So we can, you know, address this for everybody. But Nausheen, what might you add about anything that Leslie mentioned in regards to community?
Oh gosh, I am such a big believer in the power of community. And I love, Jesse, what you're building. I love everything that Leslie talked about. I absolutely saw it in play when I first moved to China. I knew almost no one. I had some family here. My husband is half Chinese, so we had some family, and that was it. That was all the people I knew. And I had to build my community from scratch. And because I was coming from a space where I had already built communities, I guess it was just something I loved doing without realizing it. I really took the community route to building my brand offline here in China. I started hosting networking events. I started hosting filmmaking mixers. I even hosted a few indie film exhibitions because I was doing filmmaking at the time. And people started getting to know me. So what Leslie was just talking about, the fact that your brand will become known and people will become fans and they will start referring people to you. They will become advocates for your brand. It's really true for a personal brand as well as a business. And I built my entire offline personal brand in China as a filmmaker through community.
That's really awesome. And I'm noticing that it seems like Karen keeps stepping in and then I'm losing her. So I don't know, she might be out looking for the LinkedIn support team. Maybe she's got a bad connection, or maybe the SAS kids are calling her. I'm not sure. But, you know, it'd be interesting to hear what she thinks about community. But would you say that community sort of changes the game for sales and marketing, Leslie?
Oh, I think 100% at this juncture. You know, I saw it in, you know, Pavilion was a paid community, but I saw the brands that participated. I saw the people that participated. I mean, myself, I'm coming at it as not a member or a HQ member of Pavilion anymore. I'm a member. And my entire business, I wouldn't have it without the network and the people that I met through community. So I think from a personal standpoint, like if you're not active in some communities and giving value to people over and over again. I mean, that's why people, flock to other people. That's why I go to, Jesse and others, because they've given so much value. And I'm like, okay, yay, nice to see you. So 100%, it's changing the game. And, I'm seeing so much more interest in community, so many brands, even earlier brands, seed to be, looking to build that community even before they have their first, they have customers, but they don't have that critical mass of customers. And what they're thinking about is taking their early adopters and turning them into the advocates and evangelists, because they've already taken the leap with them. They've already said, I'm going to trust you. And yes, you're going to give me a janky product, but I'm going to stay with you. And those are the prime people you need to go and make sure that their experience with you and your brand is 100% top notch.
Those are all really great points. And again, I think we just keep losing Karen. So, for now, we'll just continue on without her. But community, yeah, it is very powerful. And I'm glad that you've mentioned Jesse Owlett. If anyone in the comments here knows Jesse Owlett, he's also helped me the way that you've described, Leslie, where he's shared his screen. He got me set up on Cloudflare and, really just helped me with some DNS stuff and is very supportive. So if you know Jesse Owlett, everybody please give Jesse Owlett some love. If you have been supported by him, or if you're in his community or one of his communities, let's go ahead and spam him by just tagging him in the comments. If you know him, tag Jesse Owlett, and his company is Lead Magic. So if you're familiar with Lead Magic, just go ahead and give Lead Magic a tag too. That would be awesome. Jesse Owlett, thank you for everything that you've done for me. I definitely have really appreciated getting to know you and your community, and, all the support and everything I've learned from you. So yeah, community is so powerful, and I can already start to see the tags coming in for Jesse Owlett, and I hope they keep coming because, he just is really an awesome person. But who do you guys think of when you think of a community leader? Because I definitely think of Jesse Owlett. So I was happy to hear that you mentioned them. But is there anybody else that you think of? Or also, another thing for people in the comments, how would you suggest they go research communities where their ICP exists? So I may be a marketer, so I may be in marketing communities, but maybe I target, advertisers. So I want to go find advertisers in advertising communities. What would be both of your suggestions to everyone in terms of finding the right communities? Because sometimes they feel like secret societies.
Mm-hmm. There's actually a list, and I'll find it when Nausheen is talking, of communities that you can join. So someone shared it with me. I will find it, and you can look through the list. I would ask your friends, ask your coworkers. Somebody is in a community. I'm unfortunately in 12. So somebody's in the community. They'll know where to go. I mean, my luck is the community that I poured into for 3 years is 100% my ICP. So it's perfect for me. Probably aren't going to join any other ones, but someone will know. Or ask me. I'm happy to tell you. I'm all over the community scene. So feel free to LinkedIn me, and I'll give you some recommendations.
Well, thanks for that. How about you, Nausheen? What might you add?
I think that getting to the public facing side of the community is probably the easiest way of going about it, because a lot of communities have public events, webinars, things that they do on a regular basis so that strangers can find them, just kind of do like a walk-in. So a lot of communities that are open to that, you will always find these kinds of usually free public events. So the first thing to do is to find those events, go there, introduce yourself in a non-salesy way. I want to say non-Karen way, but I don't know Karen that well yet, but maybe a non-Karen way, and really try to make connections at these public-facing events and try to understand how to get into the community. It's something that I did, for example, when I got to China. My biggest concern was the language barrier. I did not understand Mandarin, and a lot of communities were, of course, based in the Chinese language. So I couldn't enter them. There was a very natural barrier to entry. And I found English-speaking communities. I found exactly one And I joined it and I became one of the directors eventually. It was called Startup Grind. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Startup Grind. They originated in Silicon Valley and now they have chapters all over the world, including China. And that's how I did it. I just kind of nudged my way in as first an attendee, then a volunteer. They liked me a lot and I stood out and I became one of the directors. And now I have this international network of Startup Grind chapters open to me all over the world.
Wow, that was definitely really interesting. And sorry, I'm messing with the cameras and I was on mute there. But you know, I wanted to, uh-oh, Karen, are you there, Karen?
Hello?
Karen, hi, Karen.
Who is this? I tried calling the LinkedIn support team.
Karen, I don't know, like I've come to just expect you. You're like always looking for the LinkedIn team, but I'm just Whiskey WinsDay.
This is 1-800 LinkedIn support, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to get a hold of the LinkedIn support team because I'm very angry right now.
Uh-oh.
As you can imagine, I keep getting calls on my phone. It's my personal cell phone. And I'll tell you what's going on. It's these SaaS kids. They keep dialing my phone, and I'm very angry about it.
Oh, no.
And I need to stop this right now. And I thought I was calling into the LinkedIn support team. And apparently I keep calling into this drinking show. And I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm angry about it.
I don't know what to tell you, Karen. Why are you so upset with the SaaS kids? Can I ask?
Well, let me give you a little rundown. I'll be out on the soccer field with little Johnny.
Oh.
And he's about ready to score a goal. And let me tell you something. My mobile phone rings. It always rings from the same area code that my phone is in. And they try to trick me. It could be one of little Johnny's teachers. These demon dialing, phone ready. They're dialing me all day, and I'm one of those suckers who picks up the phone. I don't know how they continue to get my phone number. I have no idea how they get it. I'm unlisted. I'm on the do not call my number list.
I don't know. You know, there's a lot of data providers out there. It's pretty easy to find people's numbers these days, Karen.
Yeah, but I don't know about me. I thought I registered on one of these government websites that tells you you're not allowed. It's just, I'm just going crazy. I mean, I've got a very big role here. I'm a director of HR. And I run a very big team. We got about 89 people. We just laid off about 20 SaaS kids, thank God. But we're busy. I mean, it's 3:45. I'm trying to watch little Johnny's soccer game. I just left work. I sometimes leave at about 3. Don't tell my boss. But, it's HR. It's a busy job. We're always busy here.
Yeah, HR. Man, that's got to be the busiest department at the whole company.
It's very busy. You're right.
Listen, okay, Karen.
I am just angry. It's these Ferrari driving, yacht driving, data providers. I know these people. I see them with their Lamborghinis and I see them. They're driving fast cars, selling my mobile data. I want to talk to them.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can get one of them on Whiskey WinsDay one day. Wouldn't that be cool, Karen?
Well, if it's the same number, I'm probably not going to call into your show anymore, but I keep getting this number confused with the support line for LinkedIn.
Well, I hope you keep calling in because I would really miss you. And I think the Whiskey WinsDay
audience will miss you. On this number because sometimes it is the LinkedIn support team. And when I talk to them, they don't really respond. I never get a response from them. That's for sure. They don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm angry over here.
Karen is angry. Oh man, I don't know. Do you guys have any tips for Karen? I don't know, Karen. I like.
You guys all seem like a nice group. I don't think you're out there making cold calls or these new calls. They're calling them the warm ones or whatever those guys are talking about over there. But I don't know. It's the Lamborghini, Ferrari driving, big penthouses that are doing it. They're either in Vegas or Florida or one of these busy states, and I want to talk to them.
Yeah, I don't know. If you think you know who Karen's talking about, go ahead and tag them in the comments because that would be interesting. I'd love to get them on the show. Karen, I'd love to be able to help you have this conversation once and for all. I don't know.
Fast cars and fast mobile numbers. That's what they're doing right now, and I'm sick of it.
But what kind of LinkedIn support do you need, Karen? You're always looking for LinkedIn support. How can I help you?
Well, I thought this was the LinkedIn support line, and I keep dialing the wrong number. I don't know why, but it's almost like LinkedIn doesn't want to hear from me anymore. I mean, you think after 92 support tickets, the group out there would listen. And every time I go, where do I talk to a manager? Is there somebody here who can get me off the list?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know how LinkedIn could get you off the list.
It's almost like the crypto kids have become mobile data dealer providers, and I'm angry.
Oh, Karen.
I see these Web3 kids, and
wow,
they're talking about it in their DMs. They DM me too sometimes. I like the DMs now because I can, block them or whatever, but they trick me on the phone, and I don't know what to do except for scream and call their manager.
Oh, you call their manager? What do you say to their manager?
Well, a lot of the SaaS kids managers like it when they get called now, because a lot of their SaaS kids aren't even doing the job anymore, and it's hard to get these kids to pick up the phone, is what I'm hearing.
Oh.
Well, one of these managers told me, and I guess I can reason with them. They could be stars on YouTube. I hope I never become a YouTube star, but hey, if I went on YouTube, I would be.
You are on YouTube. This is on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment for Karen. We've got 5 eyes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I thought I was dialing into the LinkedIn support team here. And, it's hard. I have a couple glasses of whiskey. I drink a little bit, and then I call out to the support team and at LinkedIn, and I'm pretty angry when I'm calling them, and they feel it. I know they're feeling my wrath. I want them to take me off the list.
Oh, man. All right, Karen. Well, I don't really know how to help you. Would you guys have anything to share with Karen? Any way to help her?
I really like both of you girls tonight. I think we're doing a really good job here. But I just need to talk to a manager.
Okay, Karen. Well, yeah, please.
Oh no, I was just going to suggest if maybe like a nice, wine spritzer might help with some cheese.
One right about now.
Yeah.
I could really use one because I'll tell you what, these SaaS kids are calling more and more, and they've got these bot dialers or whatever they're called. They're bot dialers. Apparently what they do is they
not butt dialers, but bot.
No, bot dial. I'm hearing it's bot. And what happens is they dial through numbers and they hang up on the sucker who doesn't pick up the phone. So I'll get a hang up all the time, right? And it's just, I'm getting sick of it. How do I get my name off the list?
I'd say send a video DM to everyone that works at LinkedIn.
I think I might have to, Leslie. Can you help me with the video content? I'd love your services for this. You guys are offering valuable services. I'd take a phone call from either one of you.
Well, there you go. I don't know if I can help you make a video. I'm still learning from Nausheen.
Nausheen, I love your headline on LinkedIn. That banner you have is high converting. It's a very quality banner. So, and everyone on here, I thank you guys every week. I keep calling in the wrong number, and I'm sorry. I just really, really, really need the help to get off these lists.
Well,
They're
Karen,
really,
you're
really
always welcome
distracting.
here. You're always welcome here, Karen.
Mhm.
Maybe you should just come hang out with us. Bring your whiskey.
Well, maybe one week I'll join the show.
Yeah, come on out. We'll make a plan. I'm going to give you a call because I have your phone number.
How'd you get it? No, Jesse, I know. I've
Through
given
the
it to
bot
you.
dials.
Yeah, the bot
With me.
dialers.
Well,
I
there's a
just don't
few
like
data.
these kids, and I want them to stop calling my cell phone. It's really distracting, especially when little Johnny's out on the soccer field kicking goals. He hasn't scored one yet this year, but we're pretty hopeful.
Well, good luck to little Johnny.
All right. Well, next time, see if we can get someone from the LinkedIn support team on here.
Oh man, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Does anyone here in the audience know anyone in the LinkedIn support? Can you tag them? That would be awesome if they could come on.
I'd really like to talk to LinkedIn about this, and I know they were the ones giving out my phone number.
No, it wasn't LinkedIn, Karen.
They probably got it from. I gave it to LinkedIn one time for one of those weird phone number verification things. And I know ever since that day, all these data providers, Ferrari driving founders, have been just doling out my phone number, and I'm on the do not call list. They don't even care.
Wow. Well, I don't know. Well, hopefully we can talk about it with them one day. But
All right,
let's get them on here with you, Karen.
it's been a great evening. So
Thank you,
long.
Karen.
Till next time. Next
Cheers to
Wednesday
you
when
and
I
little
call.
Johnny. Peace out.
Thank you.
Okay. So that was Karen, resident Karen. Man, it's always great to hear from Karen. If you're in the audience and you just got really excited to see Karen, please just say hashtag Karen and show Karen a little bit of love. But yeah, I guess before we move on to our intermission, any thoughts on Karen?
I think, Karen, we need to have a heart-to-heart with Karen. I believe she has other issues that are driving this behavior, and possibly we should recommend a therapist.
Yeah, that's probably, you're the first person to recommend that, but that's great advice.
Yeah.
I believe some of the data providers were at the B2B MX, so it's probably them. They probably gave her phone number out to everybody.
It probably was them. It was probably the founders themselves. Oh man, Karen is just hilarious. But on that note, let's take a quick break. We have a lot to catch up on, but real quick, let's hear some messages from Data Ghost.
Hey, Whiskey Wednesdays. Thanks for having me here. I'm DJ Kim, the founder of Data Ghost, the software that's changing the B2B email game. As a founder myself, I know how hard it is to get into that inbox. And if you're a founder or you're working at a startup, that is pretty hard to come by unless you're paying an arm and a leg for it. And that's why I created Data Ghost, the most accessible and accurate email finder out there. And compared to other data platforms, we're actually validating and verifying every email before we return it back to you so that you know that you can get into that inbox. And for job searchers, we know how hard the market is right now. So if you're a job searcher, DM me on LinkedIn or send me an email at dj@dataghost.co, and I'll get you set up on DataGhost for free until you find a job. And for one of you lucky viewers, you're going to get 10,000 credits, so make sure that you stay tuned for details. Thanks for having me here, Jesse. It's great to be on Whiskey Wednesdays. Let's have some fun and get into that inbox.
Awesome. Yes. Get into that inbox. Make sure that you enter to win. So earlier I didn't have this overlay ready for you, so I can share it with you really quick. What we have for prize 2 here. So I will go ahead and just take over the screen so I'm not blocking anybody. But tag Data Ghost to enter to win 10,000 credits from Data Ghost. And we have Leslie's course here. So this is a new one. We've never had this as a prize on Whiskey Wednesday. So make sure that you're tagging Data Ghost in the comments to enter to win this course. It's a $500 value. And we also have Brand 30. Many of you in the comments have done Brand 30. So if you've done Brand 30, go ahead and tag Andrew Mewborn. Thank you, Andrew Mewborn, for sharing this every week. I love getting to see people from the Whiskey Wednesday community leveling up their personal brand from getting to be a part of Brand 30. And they're posting literally every day. It's 30 posts for 30 days. And like, I feel like Lauren, you're here. So if you're in the comments, she's somebody who I think of when I think of Brand 30. And there's so many others. Marin, I know that you've done it. So if you're here in the comments, would love to hear from you too. But yeah, enter to win these prizes by tagging Data Ghost. And if you want prize one, and just a quick reminder, that's Headset Advisor Lavender. We've got the branding course, 1 hour, and 1 hour cold calling coaching. So just tag Proposify in the comments. But let's get into our third topic, which is lights, camera, action, creating killer videos that drive sales. And as we get into this, plug in some questions. I apologize if we've missed them. But Erica Stover, let's give her a shout out. She helps with the comments. She's here. But I was just going to let her know, if you see a good question, just leave it posted for us and we will get to it at some point. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring back in our guests here. And Nausheen, could you please kick us off on this? Because it was so great hearing from you on the first topic. And I can't wait to hear where you're going to take this one.
Sure. So my best advice for creating killer videos, I love that phrasing, is that you have to start simple. A lot of people get very intimidated when it comes to video. They feel like they need fancy equipment, and I am not helping the case by having like fancy mics and things, but I'm also a little bit of a gadget nerd when it comes to this because I used to be a filmmaker. But you absolutely don't need fancy lighting, fancy cameras, or even fancy mics. What you do need are good ideas, strong speaking skills, and a basic setup that works. So don't skimp on that last part. That's really something that you need to set up using the equipment you have. So if you just have your phone, that totally works. Get a little stand for it so you're not always holding it. You can have walk and talk videos where you're just holding it and walking. But in general, if you really want to build a brand on video, it's great to have it on a stand so that both your hands are free. And it's great to do it indoors so that you have minimum distractions and minimum noise. So set up a nice space indoors wherever you are. I suggest doing it at home. Even if you have an office that you go to, let's say that is an office where there are lots of other people and there are noises and distractions, and your team's always asking you questions every 10 minutes, because that used to happen to me. It's better to set up a little corner of your house or your home office with your phone, with a natural light source. Right now I have this nice balcony where I actually have to draw the curtain so it's a little bit softer, otherwise the light can get very harsh, and a little mic. So I do recommend that you buy a small lavalier or collar mic, which is the most reasonable option, and it really beats the mic on your phone, especially once you start putting the phone a little bit away from you, because if it's up close, it's kind of okay, but you can't always talk like that, like you would talk in a voice message. So have that basic setup. And then the second step is understanding how to create scripts that are succinct, that have one idea per video, and that you can easily deliver. Here's where a lot of people also go wrong, where they start to get into a tutorial or a news announcer, a newscaster mode, where they start, I'm going to be telling you now about this, and this is how to do this. But actually, all you want to do is to be having a regular conversation with a friend or a prospective client. So make the audience at the other end feel like you're just talking to them. This is not easy. It's easier said than done, but it's absolutely possible. And then step 3 is, of course, editing, which again is scary for a lot of people. But now you have these great tools, some of them, again, built into your phone, like Descript and Veet.io, which make editing really simple. And I always advise my clients that if editing is the one thing that's holding them back from creating videos, hire an editor. It's now possible to get people that are very reasonably priced, that know what they're doing, because they understand that a lot of content creators want to be creating a lot of videos and they don't have time to edit. Those are the 3 really simple steps that you can follow to create awesome videos.
Wow, that was really great. Do you make a lot of videos, Leslie?
I'm starting to. So due to lots of peer pressure from my friend Chet Lovegren, I'm launching a podcast, and he is going to help me like chop that up into multiple pieces. I'd probably love to have you two as guests. And then help me like tell me where to put it and all that kind of stuff. So he's going to do the editing. He's going to do all of that because it's definitely not in, I mean, if y'all know me, I'm a high D personality on the disc. There is no way I'm going to jump into any kind of editing. So yeah, and I did, you know, if I were home, so I'm in an Airbnb, running off my mobile hotspot, you know, I have some decent lighting. I did bring my camera with me, so that travels. Huge difference, folks. If you don't have an external camera, like that's the one basic step that turns what you're doing so much better. And like, I'm totally jerry rigging the free like ring light I got from some conference today, which it probably looks like. So, I mean, you can do like, just like Nausheen said, you can do little things that make such a huge difference, and it's not overcomplicated.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I like what you shared about editing too, because you're right. That is daunting for a lot of people, and it is hard. But I would say, like, even if you hire someone, and this is actually a suggestion that I got from Chris Bogue, who was the one who introduced me to you, Nausheen. But he suggested that even if I have someone else do it, I should still go through and listen to it and kind of bookmark it for different sections that I like, because then I'm able to learn from watching myself. And I do learn from it. So watching it, you know, it's hard to watch yourself, and you'll cringe at a lot of different spots that a lot of other people wouldn't cringe at. But then you're able to change those things going forward. What would you add about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching yourself is crucial. It's hard. It can be really painful, but it's crucial. It's inevitable. It's unavoidable. So some of the clients that I coach, the first step we have to get over is them digging up old recordings. And they have a podcast they've been on, an event they've been on that they hate, and they hide it away somewhere. But it's just like sports, right? If you're an athlete and you don't watch your performance, you never know what you're doing well and what you could have done better. And that's exactly what this exercise is about. Only by watching yourself do badly can you tell that, oh, it's because I'm using a lot of filler words. Oh, it's because I'm not really smiling. I'm forgetting to smile. It's because I'm not showing my hands. It can be many, many things that lead up to that impression that you got, that that was like a little not too confident. That was not me. I just don't know why, but it wasn't me. So you have to know why. So that's a great exercise for that.
Great tips. Well, we've got one more topic to cover, and I know we're running low on time, but we're going to be ending on talking about community. And man, it's just like, when I think of 2022 and 2023, I really do think of video and community. So these topics, you know, they really they don't go hand in hand. I suppose they can if you're sharing videos in a community. But, you know, I don't know. I just think of video being such a huge part of my marketing strategies that I've used in the last year, and they've made a huge impact. And they also help me learn, because you get qualitative data from learning from all of these different talking heads, but also from those different talking heads and thought leaders, you can network in communities. And based on these different videos, we move into communities. And so with that, what would you say, Leslie, in terms of building a community that lasts and the increasing value of brand communities in 2023 and beyond? So this could really go anywhere. So I'll just let you kick it off.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to kind of go back on the video portion of it. So if you think of probably many communities that you're in, and yours, Lizzie, as well, there is an event component usually, whether it's even if it's a welcome message or a welcome meeting, or the events that you put on to educate your customers and members. So for me, any really good community has an entire like events strategy, and we're talking again C2B people. We're not buying them extravagant dinners. We are talking about providing them engaging content, and that does include video. Most communities at this point are international, which is an amazing benefit. You know, I can now travel anywhere in the world and have coffee with somebody I know. Never met them, but I know them. So yeah, there's definitely a video aspect to all of that. And then even things like doing meetings, using a product like Meetsy within a community so that you're meeting other members from time to time and sharing your war stories, etc. So I guess that goes a little bit into the video, the portion of it, and that's super important. That's how people attach themselves to people, by seeing them. You don't want your brand to feel like, XYZ company in a box. You want the brand to feel like, hey, I'm here, I'm welcoming, come in, learn about us, let me teach you, let me help you. And that video component is huge. So I don't think they answered all your questions. What was another question?
Yeah, I mean, it's so much, but how do communities kind of take over 2023 and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, it is, oh goodness. I think, and many people have said it, but really, if you are not thinking community right now, you are behind. Some tips, if you're out there thinking about community, is one, you have to have someone dedicated to the community. It is, we would call it smooth like a duck. So if you were in our community, you would feel like it was just fine, but there were 16 of us behind the scenes. It's like the lecture company. We were keeping lights on every day. So we're back there doing all the things that you all have no idea about. I'm not saying all communities need 16 people, but you need someone dedicated. It cannot be someone's side job on top of their other job. It does. It takes heart. It takes a lot of work, coordination, strategy. I talked to someone today. They were thinking, I'll just do it myself. Like, oh, no. You are the CMO. You are not doing that yourself. So, yeah, so that's one of the tips. But I'm just like, you really have to think of it in some level. And if you can't, like I said before, if you can't start your own community right now, join someone else's community, or think about community in a way that is accessible to you. I could have a community of 30 members, and it can be a very, very valuable and rewarding community. Communities don't have to be thousands of people, and sometimes it's better if they're not thousands of people. So I just think about it in little pieces, and just know that it's just kind of like what Nausheen said about video. I don't have to have the $4,000 camera and the really expensive light with me everywhere I go and the full setup. I have to have a place where people can congregate and gather, that I can give value, they can give value to each other, and that's the basic tenet of all things community.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as a marketer, I feel like I need to put a PSA out there for other marketers. You're going to go, if you haven't heard of this, and now you're going to go find some communities. You can't just go in there and start dropping your blogs. You can't just go in there and start, sharing your corporate content. You have to go in there and you have to be a human, and you have to give, and then maybe you'll receive. But you're going to do a whole lot more giving, and that's, engaging with other people and providing knowledge to them. And that's after that. And after you've done your part of doing that, you'll start to see the returns on that. Do you both agree?
I was with community police. So if something happened, I got a screenshot. I got multiple screenshots if it happened in a big way. And so I would have to go approach the member like, hey, if it was bad, we need to chat. It was like being called the principal's office. It's like, hey, I saw this wasn't appropriate. It's a learning opportunity for many people, but I had to fire people. It's a paid community. And I will refund your money and lock you out of the system today because you are not going to listen to what I'm saying. Oh yeah, no, there was rules, and that direct selling, plus it just ruins your brand. If I go in there and start spamming all of Jesse's community members in the DM, they're all going to talk about me. So I'm going to be like, oh, that Leslie, she's terrible. And you ruin both your brand and your company's brand by doing that. And that's a really big thing to think about, because as we know, sass is small. All the sassy kids talk to each other, and then now your name is mud. So yeah,
it's true.
Be careful, folks.
Yeah. Anything you would add on that, Nausheen?
I love that idea of it being one piece of your personal brand, which is exactly what it is. Being a part of a community, speaking in that community, and then speaking to a wider audience. It should be similar. You can't be different people, because people are going to see through that. Even if you feel like, oh, I just said it in a small group, you don't know who's listening. I think that's one of the first lessons you learn when you start building your personal brand, that you just don't know who's listening, who's tuned in, who's watching you, and who's going to be talking about you. And you want them to be saying good things.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So thank you for sharing that, Nausheen. And thank you, Leslie, as well, for all of this. If there's anyone in the audience who has any questions, be sure to plug those in. But at this point, we have some prizes to give away. And it would be awesome if you haven't yet entered to win, that you get a quick chance. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. So there's Proposify and there's Data Ghost. Give them some love and enter to win these prizes. Let me go ahead and pull myself up singular here so I don't cover up anyone's face. But this is prize one. We've showed them already before. This is what you're entering to win if you tag Proposify. And then we have prize two here. Leslie, anything you want to tell the crowd about your course here that they'd be entering to win?
I was going to like just peek over the top of the thing. So yeah, my course is hosted on Maven. It's called Evangelist-Led Growth. So it's talking about taking those individual humans that are part of your community and or part of your customer base and turning them into those evangelists that are going out and talking about you. So you're going to learn how to identify, engage, empower, and amplify those people. And by giving them value, and then you can see the results over time.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So you have a few more seconds to enter to win that, because I don't know if, do both of you remember who you submitted for Guru of the Week? Guru of the Week. Ooh, Guru of the Week.
No.
So you
Completely
both
forgotten.
Based on our conversations on LinkedIn, I don't think either of us remembered anything we said on
yeah,
the sheet.
And I appreciate both of your feedback. And I got a great idea from Lauren in the comments. Thank you, Lauren, because I was telling her about that. She's like, maybe I can make a video that I can share with guests to give you a better idea of the show, if you haven't been a part of it, in terms of like the prizes and the stuff we're giving away. So then that might help you, better understand like what's going on in terms of like the questions I have on my intake form. So all of your feedback pre-show was really great. But I'm going to go ahead and share the Guru of the Week. We have Gurus of the Week. So we had Chet submitted by you, Leslie, and Zainab submitted by you, Nausheen. So do you want to go ahead, Leslie, and tell the crowd about Chet and why they should all go follow him?
Yeah, so Chet, I work with Chet in multiple places. So he and I both work with Hatchet Ventures, which is an advisory group that helps underrepresented and underestimated founders get access to funding and get the advisory services that maybe they wouldn't have access to. And he does their podcast. He also has the Sales Doctor podcast. And like I said, he's the one that's been kind of really pushing me out of my shell and saying, go out there, you have a message, share the message. And, he's the one, I don't know if I should tell him he's a guru for this, but he's going to put me on TikTok, and now my kids are like, you are so sketch, mom. Or whatever the word of the day is for teenagers. So like, he's got so much knowledge on this content and sales development and just such a positive spirit that I just think everybody should follow Chet.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that about Chet. Everybody go ahead and tag Chet in the comments if you can, to let him know that Leslie just gave him a shout out as Guru of the Week. And then when you tag him, just go ahead and follow him. And I'm going to do the same. And Nausheen, could you tell everybody a little bit about Zainab and why they should all go follow her as well?
Yeah, sure. Zainab is a great person. She is full of sunshine and smiles. But more than that, she really stands for this philosophy of you're sitting on gold, which I love and I get inspired by. So one of the things that she loves doing is telling people that you're already sharing so much in your regular Zoom calls, in the conversations that you're having every day. All you need to do is record them and then repurpose them for social media content. And that's really where you're showing off your expertise, where you're supernatural on camera, you're smiling and having this conversation. And that's what people want to see. So she really reinforces this message throughout her content. You're sitting on gold. And it really resonated with me, and it's resonated with a lot of people. And that's one of the things she does. She's multi-talented. She also does merchandise. She also does GIF creation. So there's a whole bunch of fun things going on, and it's all packaged with this signature Zainab smile that I love. So I would really encourage you guys to follow her. She's really going to blow up, I think, in 2023. She's already quite big.
I agree. I hope that she can come on Whiskey Wednesday one day, because it's funny. I've done a recording with her, and I've always just read her name incorrectly. So thank you for correcting me on that. Zainab, we've had conversations because we both are just obsessed with first party data and how third party cookies are being eliminated. So we have a lot in common in that regard, but she's brilliant, right? And she does all these fun, GIFs, and she's so fun to follow. She does the t-shirt, whatever, the sales thing that you were talking about. So there's just so much there. And her TikTok, if you're following her on LinkedIn, that's great, but her TikTok is really fun as well. And she's very active on there. So if you're on TikTok, she'll also engage back with you. So yeah, I'd never heard of Chet, so I'm excited to go follow him. Thank you so much for sharing that, Leslie. But yeah, please do the same and give Zainab some love and tag her in the comments. And when you tag her, go follow her. Let her know she's the guru of the week. Also, I might have to do a special daytime episode just to get her on, because I think we've had a timing issue just based on the fact that I believe she's in Spain. Yeah, that would be great to get her on the show. But we got to give away these prizes. So if you haven't yet entered to win, this is your last chance. You got Proposify or Data Ghost, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we are going to give these prizes away. So prize one, we wanted to enter Proposify. There are 13 of you who have entered to win, and let's go ahead and draw. Can everybody see my screen? It looks like you can. Here we go. Who's it going to be? Who's going to win prize one? It's going to be Alexa, maybe Susan, maybe Cliff, maybe Steph, maybe Tom. Is it Rachel? Stephanie Hand, congratulations. You won prize one, Stephanie Hand. So I will follow up with you in the DMs to send you a form to have you fill out so we can capture your email and get you connected with all of those brands, Stephanie. So congratulations on winning. And let's go ahead and do prize two. Who do we think is going to win prize two? Whoever it is going to get Leslie's course. So that's pretty exciting. There's 10 of you. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Rachel, Adam, Susan, Lauren, Logan, Jason, Cliff, Susan? Congratulations, Susan. I'm so excited for you. Susan is one of our first winners on Facebook. So I am excited to see that. And Susan is in this community, that a saleswomen community that I'm a part of. And so I will be getting in touch with you, Susan, and I'll send you the same form so that you can share all of your details and we can get you connected with those prizes to win. But now it is time for the after party. So I'm going to share that link here on the screen. Right there. And so then also I'm going to go ahead and put it in the private chat here for our guests, just to make it easier for you. And then let me share it in the comments here as well, just to make sure people can click it. But the after party, it's a Google Hangout, and people come on. We've got, some people who are regulars who come on every week. And every week we also get some new people. We try to get the new people to introduce themselves if they don't mind. But you can also just tune in and listen, and we won't bug you if you don't want to come on camera. But it would be great to hear from folks. Be great to hear what you heard about the show or what you thought about the show. But yeah, let's see. Let me put this in the LinkedIn comments here so our friends on LinkedIn can just click to enter. But with that, that's a wrap on Whiskey Wednesday for March 1st. Thank you so much, Leslie and Nausheen, for helping us kick off. I believe this is International, is it Women's History Month or International Women's History Month?
Exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for helping us kick it off. And I guess before we leave, since it is International Women's History Month, what might you share as one piece of advice for all of the women in the comments? To end on that note,
gosh.
I'm going to go ahead. I know it's a hard one. I'll give it to myself too. And I'm going to say, let's go back to the imposter syndrome thing. And I know that men get this too. So it's not just women, but we are good enough. Let's just everybody remember that. And if you want, like, join the Reveting Slack community, because I love having people there. Let's share our wins there and celebrate each other. I think that's one thing that women can especially do to support each other, is celebrate each other's wins. You are not my competitor. I am happy when you win, so I want to celebrate your wins. And I think that that's one thing that we can all work on. But I don't know, not to put you on the spot, but would any of you have anything to share?
I
Yeah,
have one.
that's
I would.
great
Oh,
advice.
go ahead, Nausheen. Go.
Oh, go ahead. No, sorry. Go
I think
ahead.
it's my internet. I'm gonna say just ask. What I found, working with, probably 4,000 women in revenue, is they were less likely to ask. Ask for. We had a course that cost money. The men would come in more often, and ask for a discount. The women, we had a scholarship for women. Just ask. Ask for the raise. Ask for the opportunity. Be that person that's more likely to ask, because the more you ask, the more opportunities are presented to you.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's powerful.
I wanted to add, because in my line of work, a lot of people shy away from being visible because they feel like they're going to be judged, especially women, unfortunately. We are judged on how we look, what our hair looks like, what we're wearing. And a lot of women feel intimidated by that. So just, if there is a way that you can just tell yourself it is going to happen. We're not living in a perfect world. I get comments on my hair, on how I look, how I talk all the time, on my eyebrow ring, everything. I have people on YouTube tell me that I'm not going to listen to a girl with purple hair and an eyebrow ring talk about leadership. And I ignored it. So don't let that fear of being judged, which is unfortunately inevitable, stop you from being visible, because you are so much more than that. And there will always be haters. So if that is stopping you, if the idea of putting yourself out there is making you feel scared, that's all of us. And do it anyway.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you. I know I didn't prepare you for that question, but it just sort of
That's fine.
sprung on me that it was the beginning of is it International Women's Month, right? That's what it's called? Or is it It's Women's History Month as well, I believe. I don't know. I need to Google it, or if someone's in the comments and correct me. I don't want to call it the wrong thing. But yeah, it is, something that I'll be celebrating in the Slack channel. So would love to have you all there. But yeah, I've dropped the Google link. I'm in there. So if anybody else is in there, I'm not seeing anybody. So I'm hoping that my link is working. Let's see. It looks like, yeah, so all right, here we go. It is working. There we go. All right, so go ahead and join the after party. We are here. I am here. I can let you in now. And you guys have the link in the private chat. Would love to have you join and meet some of the audience members. But I also know that you've been with us 18 minutes over the hour. So, thank you so much for being on Whiskey Wednesday. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and play our outro video. So that's a wrap.
Yay. Thank you.